And he's in against Miguel Mike Espinosa, Super Bantams. They're due next. Stay tuned. Sending your way Budweiser's night of championship boxing. Coming up on July the Miguel Mike Espinosa is in the ring. And shortly coming up the steps and into the squared circle will be Marco Antonio Barrera.
Espinosa, good, aggressive, hard worker, Tom. He's pretty good puncher, 21 KOs in his 29 victories. He's going to be at a disadvantage in height and reach here tonight against the taller and evidently still growing Marco Antonio Barrera.
He's got an age problem to worry about too. This youngster climbing in is only 20, while Espinosa's 31.
Barrera looks like he should be singing in your choir on
That's right.
Sunday.
Yeah, right out of the Vienna Boys Choir. Saturday nights he's available for smokers and whack the populace around. Sundays in church singing. All right, you'll hear more about the baby-faced assassin and others. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has some introductions of his own. Jimmy, if you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, before our featured bout of the evening, at this time, we'd like to ask you to rise for the playing of our national anthem. In the ring at this time, to lead us, ladies and gentlemen, recently released CD, In the Park. Please welcome the Positive Music Records recording artist. How about a hand for Mike Gieler? Thank you very much to Mike Gieler. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us across the nation on Prime, we welcome you to the main event of the evening, a super bantamweight special attraction brought to you by Forum Boxing Incorporated, along with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. The chairman is William Eastman. The vice chairman in attendance, Willie Buchanan. Commissioner in attendance, Kim Welshons. Presenting to you the judges as appointed for this main event, Terry Smith, Lou Filippo, and Gwen Adair. Introducing to you the referee in charge of this bout. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Raul Cais. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. Super bantamweights in action, scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing blue trunks with white trim, and he hails from Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico. He weighed in at 121 pounds with a record of 29 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws. He has 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Miguel Espinosa. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round main event. He is wearing white trunks with red and green trim. He hails from Mexico City, Distrito Federal, Mexico. He weighed in the same weight of 121 pounds. His outstanding record is unblemished with 30 wins, no losses, and 20 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former NABF and Mexican super flyweight champion, and he's currently ranked the WBC number 5 bantamweight contender in the world. Introducing the undefeated Marco Antonio Barrera. Reminding you, scheduled 10 rounds of boxing. Here's your referee in charge, Raul Cais.
Ok, muchachos, acuérdense que les di las instrucciones ahí abajo. Me hacen caso, todo lo que les diga. Dense la mano, buena suerte.
All right, the tail of the tape, Marco Antonio Barrera, 5'7.5". He's 4 inches taller than Espinosa. At 121, they weigh the same. He is 20, while Espinosa is 11 years older, and he's got a 2-inch advantage in the reach department. This is an undefeated 20-year-old who's 30-0 with 20 knockouts. 5'7½", and obviously still growing. Last time we saw him, he was in the flyweight division. Here he is, a super bantam at 121, Rich.
Well, he was the former NEBF, the former Mexican super flyweight champion also, Tom, and he simply outgrew the division. He was supposed to be defending his title at 115. His last fight showed up at 116½. He just can't make that weight anymore.
No, and a lot of guys were ducking him. He had little future in that division because he just didn't have anybody that he could fight.
So he settled in that last fight at 116½, for a decision victory over Carlos Salazar.
Miguel Espinosa, Mike Espinosa, lands a couple of counter shots with the right hand. Barrera's got a very good left hand. He's shown it a couple of times here early on in this first round, working it to the body. All business. Never seems to smile, never changes the expression on his face.
We saw Espinosa here last July, almost just about a year ago. Tommy fought Greg Richardson, the former champion of the world. Had Richardson down in that fight. And as the decision was announced by our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon, the fight was awarded to Espinosa. But after retallying the cards a few moments later, Jimmy went back to the microphone and announced that it in fact had been a draw, which was hotly disputed by Espinosa and the crowd in attendance.
Espinosa's in the blue trimmed in white, and the more colorful white trimmed in red and green of his native country is Marco Antonio Barrera. Mexico City youngster. His family quite devoted to his boxing career. They're very much tuned into what he's doing, very supportive. Nice counterpunch with that left hand, Rich. He really does some good work with it.
Well, you know, you see a record like his and you immediately look at those knockouts and you think, oh, this is a guy who's really a puncher and everything, but this is a kid who has a lot of skills. He's tall, first of all, and he takes advantage, Tom, of his height for his weight division. And he fights tall for his weight division, and he's a very sharp puncher. He's aggressive at the same time. Good stamina, stays busy in the ring. Takes a good wallop as well.
Yep. Espinosa, as round one is coming to a close, is a guy who's been around. They have fought before, and Barrera got a victory. Espinosa would like to turn that around. There's the bell.
That was in July of 1992, Tom, their first fight. So it's a couple of years between their bouts together, and that one Barrera stopped Espinosa in 6 rounds.
We talk about the bantamweight division. We'll check the WBC standings in the bantamweight division. You can see Victor Rabanales is listed as the #1 contender. Marco Antonio Barrera, #5. However, sometimes the ratings don't quite catch up with what's transpired. In fact, Wayne McCullough posted a victory over Victor Rabanales, so one would assume that McCullough will rise in the standings and Rabanales will come down. This, of course, is brought to you by Tecate and Tecate Light. Tonight, do the tea thing.
Yusui Yakashuji, who you see as the champion there, will soon be defending his title against Jung Yun Gil, who was the second-ranked contender. So you would think that McCullough, after the victory over Rabanales, will probably move up to #1, be the mandatory. And this man here, Marco Antonio Barrera, with a chance perhaps to move up much, much higher now in the rankings.
Out they come for round #2. Espinosa in the blue trunks. He's the older of the two, the shorter of the two. He's 31, and he is 5'3½". Taller by 4 inches and younger by 11 years. It's Marco Antonio Barrera in the white, red, and green of his native Mexico. Espinosa's from Sinaloa, and Barrera is from Mexico City. (29-8-2). We don't. Pretty good left hand thrown by Barrera. Don't mean to lead you along the primrose path that you think Espinosa can't fight. He can. He's a very good fighter.
Well, we talked about the Richardson fight, and he had a sensational victory, Tom, in Culiacan, Mexico, back in November. He fought a pretty good fighter by the name of Francisco Montiel, and Espinosa was knocked down in that fight 3 times, yet came back to stop Montiel in that bout in 9 rounds. So he is game, he's got the heart, and he will try his best here tonight, you can be sure, against Barrera. Pretty good left hook by Espinosa in close.
Barrera, I don't know if he'd ever change expression. He never gives you any indication of what's going on out there, just deadpan.
I was just thinking the same thing, Tom, as I look after he took that left hook. It was like no change. I got that Joe Louis poker-faced expression.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to play poker with him. You wouldn't know if he had a pair, a straight, or a busted flush. Nice left jab by Barrera. Espinosa trying to nail him with that right hand, Rich, as though he could catch a little lightning in a bottle here.
Well, he's a pretty good hitter. 21 KOs in 29 fights.
He did nail him with the right hand. He did catch Barrera with the right hand. But again, no indication facially from Barrera that it was good, bad, or indifferent. But he did get hit.
And Espinosa trying to follow up here. That's a good idea. Barrera did have a little nod of respect after he got hit with that shot. Clean right. You were right, Tom. He was looking to set him up for that Sunday shot.
Round 2 coming to a close. We'll be back to see about more of this one.
And from Espinosa in the second round, there it is, clean right, knocks Barrera back a couple of feet.
Yeah, that was a stinger. That caught him a pretty good shot, and I think it certainly gained the attention, if not the respect, of Barrera.
The question is, Tom, did it gain the attention enough, that one shot by Espinosa, of the judges to win the round? On my card, I'm giving him the round.
Yeah, I did too. I thought he won the round anyway.
On effective punching, that was certainly the most effective punch of the round.
Yeah. Barrera gives you a feeling of a kind of a matter of factness, a guy just going out to do a job. Never smiles, never gives you any facial expression one way or the other. Good left hand. Sticks it out, hooks it, rips it to the body. Espinosa again looking for a chance to throw that right hand, lands with it again.
Looks as though he'd like to counter off of that jab by Barrera, and that's a problem for Barrera, because Barrera likes to put the left jab out there to start things off for him, and Espinosa's looking to counter it with the right hand over. Espinosa at 31,
Even though he has a fine record of 29, 8-2 and 21 knockouts, may, in this featherweight division, have his best days behind him. But he certainly is fighting well tonight, very cautious. When given the opportunity, he throws that left and follows it with a solid right, just missing on that occasion. We're here in round number 3. One would assume that the longer this fight goes, why the younger legs of Barrera at 20 will stand him in good stead, Rich.
Yes, and you know, Barrera really has a lot of fights for someone that young, at 20 years of age, Tom, so he's well accustomed to going a good distance of ground. And, you know, he turned pro in 1989. Now, he's only 20, which means that this kid was fighting as a professional when he was 16 years old.
Been busy exchanging left hands. Barrera drops his to the midsection of Espinosa. See much in the way of a right hand by Barrera. Rich, he throws that left, counters with it.
Little cautious in this round is Barrera, probably winning the round just on the strength of his jab alone.
And his boxing skills, they're pretty good. Round 3 coming to a close. We'll be back right after this. Scheduled for 10 super bantamweights at 121 pounds. The undefeated Marco Antonio Barrera in the white, red, and green. In blue and white, Miguel Mike Espinosa, 31-year-old veteran who's got a dandy record of 29-8-2. Barrera, as Rich and I were telling you a moment ago, is just a baby, 20 years of age, undefeated at 30-0 and 20 knockouts. Campaigned his way right up through the flyweight division. Here he is now to super bantam at 121 pounds. Big kid for that division, 5'7½".
Last time we saw him here at the Forum, back on March 1st, third round KO over Justo Zuniga. Not much of a match there. Had a pretty good fight from Coriano Ramirez about a year ago here at the Forum, but otherwise he's been pretty overwhelming against everyone he's fought here.
Yeah.
A little more offense to start the round by Barrera than we saw from him in round 3. Looking to work to the body of Espinosa.
A good exchange there a moment ago. A lot of the crowd pulling for Espinosa. They like that right hand he showed back in round number 2. Referee is Raul Caiz. Judges are Gwen Adair and Phil Filippo.
Boy, Espinosa just missed with that right hand again coming in. I think, you know, that one right that Espinosa has landed has put some caution into the attack tonight of Barrera. Although, you know, he is a skilled fighter and he will box. But still, I think he felt that right hand and he's using a cautious offensive arsenal, although it is certainly more in evidence in this round in terms of utilizing both hands and doing a little more punching than he had in the last round.
Got an awfully good left hand, this kid Barrera. He jabs with it, he hooks with it, keeps you off balance, gets off first. He doesn't throw as many rights behind it as you might like. But I tell you, it's a very good left hand. Your man marked. That was a nice combination thrown by Barrera. Left and a right as Espinosa came in, but again, that's a solo left hand. And the jab, then he backs up and walks away.
He's frustrating Espinosa with the movement here in the jab now. There he tried to counter, Espinosa did off of the jab again, but missing badly that time.
It's like a welt, an abrasion of some sort under the left eye of Espinosa. And that left hand by Marco Barrera is helping it along, to be sure. We've completed Antonio Barrera. Not a mark on him. Ricardo Maldonado, this is manager Perez, Tony Rivera, Oscar Maldonado. Ricardo Maldonado has a lot of fine Mexican fighters, does a very good job for them. And I tell you, he's got what appears to be a champion right here, Rich Morado.
Well, many think that's the case, Tom. He's so skilled, and I think in his division right now, he has an opportunity to move up to second or third if he can get an impressive victory tonight.
Seems to be unmarked and unconcerned, this youngster, after a total of 30 fights at the tender age of 20.
The corner man of Espinosa in his corner, he didn't have an ice bag or an inswell there. He took just a one piece of ice.
Laid it on that welt.
Put it on the welt, just like you grab out of your coat. And put it up there. There's no blood on that. It is a bruise, though, underneath the eye. That could pump up.
Indeed. That would be the big disadvantage to it, of course, that it would swell and in that regard help close the eye. It's not going to cause a flow of blood into the eye because it's well below it. And on the cheekbone portion on the left side of his face. Oh, nice combination. After a series of lefts, Barrera caught Espinosa with a right hand as they closed. And he has picked up the action here in round number 5.
Good, solid right hand, Tom. And Espinosa, for the first time, I think, really felt the power of Barrera in this fight. Barrera, though, Very poised. Not wild, you know.
Well, very conservative in his attack. I mean, he very seldom will throw. There's a kind of a weak effort at throwing the right hand, but he's content to hook you and jab you with that left, and then occasionally bring that right behind him. When he does, it's very effective. He's got that welt showing some red now. That is an awful good left hand he's got. And Espinosa is getting nailed by it. And every now and then a right hand. It's a pretty good round for Barrera so far, Rich.
Yes, and he showed some power in this round. I thought he'd be a little more offensive-minded after that, landing that shot. But, Tom, you know, the other side of the coin is that a guy who's 20 years old, landing a punch the way he did, might go hog wild and miss and go crazy trying to finish a guy off.
I don't think that'll ever be the case with this kid. He seems so controlled and so, you know, tuned in, knows exactly what his game plan is not going to deviate from it. He's tall and talented and tough. He's just a baby, really, at 20. I tell you, that is as good a left hand as you're going to see. He's got Espinosa's face showing the effects of some solid shots here now.
I think that bruise is just the result, Tom, of left jab after left jab, just pounding into that side of the face. Not power shots, but they add up.
And the round has quickly moved along. Round 5 is just about in the books. We'll be back to see about round 6 and the others.
As they start round 6 action, look back to round 5. Watch the flurry of punches. There's the clean right hand by Marco Antonio Barrera. It came amidst a flurry of punches that hurt Espinosa momentarily and was the best showing offensively by Barrera so far in the fight.
So the 6th round, the scoring, Rich Murata's card has Barrera up by 3 points at 49-46 after 5 rounds. The winner of the round here in California gets 10, and the loser a lesser number. But ordinarily that'd be a 10-9 round for a routine one-fighter victory. He knocks a guy down 10-8. Pretty good right hand by Espinosa as they exchange some solid shots over there. Welt under the left eye of Miguel Mike Espinosa. Marco Antonio Barrera, the young man in white, red, and green, is unmarked.
It was a good performance by Barrera, Tom, although it's not necessarily scintillating in terms of its excitement in the action, because I'm sure he realizes, you know, the things that we talked about in terms of Espinosa tonight, those 21 knockouts and 29 fights, the fact that he flattened Greg Richardson in one of the rounds of their and had a draw, that he came off the canvas to knock out Francisco Montiel last November. You have to be careful with a guy like this because he looks beaten, but watch out.
Pretty good exchange there as they stand face to face. Barrera's boxing skills come into play. Quite evident he is very adept at slipping punches. He got nailed with the right hand. Nobody slips away from all of them. But for the most part, he has been very effective with that jab with the right hand of his own. And his boxing skills have given him, we think, an edge here over Espinosa as they battle away in round number 6.
And the first time these two fought, it was the 6th round where Barrera finished off Espinosa. That was 2 years ago.
Well, we'll see if lightning or a right hand strikes twice. Espinosa with a nice jab of his own sends a spray of water and sweat from the brow and the head of Barrera. Can't believe the corner wouldn't have an Ensweller ice over there or something for this kid. Huh? Maybe he's tougher than we think.
That lone piece of ice is probably melted by now.
That's right. Nice solid combinations by Barrera. Oh, and a right hand rocks Espinosa. Barrera warms to the task now, and a good left by Espinosa. And this is what the crowd came to see, Rich.
And actually, probably Espinosa is glad that Barrera is at least exchanging with him. He's got a chance to get some shots home, too.
Barrera drops him with a right hand. What a solid shot. Espinosa went down in his face. And now his corner is saying, stay down. His corner's in the ring. He can't get up. Boy, he was really decked. What a right hand by toe and really leveling at each other. Barrera got nailed with some shots from Espinosa, but like a brick coming out of a dark alley, right in the middle of his face. Down he went, flat on his face.
Tom, those were some very, very crisp punches coming from Marco Antonio Barrera. Really sharp punching. There's some blood showing above the eye now of Espinosa, but what a right hand. Crisp punches.
You can see a welt under the eye there on the left side. The only mark, Espinosa really outside from that welt under his left eye, not all that marked up. Watch it again as Rich is going up in the ring to get the interview. We'll show you again going back here to round number 6. The busy exchange. Both men leveling some pretty solid shots, and now stay tuned for a right hand. Here it is. They're coming your way. A left, a right hand, and there's the right, point of the chin. Boy, and I tell you, you are really hit when you go down flat on your face. There it is. Marco Antonio Barrera with 21 knockouts, 31 victories without a loss. Jimmy Lennon will bring you the official time on the baby-faced assassin. But first we'll pause for this message. Sixth round, that electrifying right hand for the knockout win by Barrera. Let's go to Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 59 seconds in round number 6. The winner by way of knockout and still undefeated, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Well, he's impressive, isn't he? I told you that on July the 8th, we're going to have a great show featuring Chiquita Gonzalez. Also on that card, the WBC number 2 ranked featherweight Cobrita Gonzalez, who is 30-2 with 21 knockouts against Hector Mohardin, who's 17-4. And then Sammy Fuentes, who's got 18 knockouts in 30 victories, will go against Booker Kidd. So they put together a great show for July the 8th. That'll be our next Friday night get-together here at the Great Western Forum. Fight night at the Great Western Forum, brought to you by Budweiser. Well, you saw the face of the defeated Mike Espinosa. Didn't look too bad at that. And the baby-faced assassin, bit of a grin. What a right hand. He is, of course, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Rich Murata's with him. Rich?
Okay, thanks a lot, Tom. Marco Antonio Barrera with us. Sam Calderon will interpret for us. Marco, first of all, a one-punch knockout. Was that the best punch you've thrown as a professional fighter?
Fue el trancazo que tiraste. Fue el mejor trancazo que has tirado.
No, yo creo que no. Yo creo que pues fue un golpe en el cual pues no estaba planeado que se cayera, sino ser un remate. Pues se cayó y pues qué mejor, ya así no me arriesgué más.
That punch was not planned. He just threw a punch, but it was not really planned. But he's glad that he fell down, and that's it.
Let's take a look, Marco, if we can, at what happened during the final knockout here, and explain to us what happened.
Explícale qué es lo que pasó en este.
Lo que pasa es que nos tiramos en un cambio de golpes. Yo dije echarme para adelante, no hacia atrás. Entonces fue cuando sobrevino ese golpe que fue a la lona.
They were exchanging punches, and then he didn't want to back out, so he just wanted to go forward. Next thing, he just fell down.
Tremendous one-punch knockout. Now, Marco, he landed a right on you in the second round. Did that hurt you at all?
Te tiró una derecha en el segundo round. ¿Te dolió? ¿Te lastimó?
Pues no fue nada más una derecha, fueron varios golpes que me los metió bien colocados. Mike Espinosa pega fuerte, es uno de los rivales con los que me he enfrentado que más duro pegan. Y es un gran peleador y pues sí, los derechas sí los resentí, pero gracias a Dios pues todo salió bien.
He said it's not only a right hand, that it was few punches that he threw, but of all of them, he is a good fighter, and that's why, well, he's glad that he won the fight.
You feeling comfortable at this weight?
¿Te sientes inconfortable con el peso que tienes ahorita?
Pues no, me siento muy bien, me sentí realmente la segunda pelea que hago en Super Gallo. Creo que pues vamos a ver y pensar si voy a continuar en peso gallo o seguir de plano en peso Super Gallo.
He feels strong in this weight, but he's still thinking about it to see if he's going to stay in the same weight.
You think this is your chance now to move up to the top and perhaps get a championship fight soon? Are you ready now to fight for the title?
Esta es tu oportunidad. ¿Crees que vas a poder tirar para poder hacer una pelea para el título? ¿Ya estás preparado para eso?
Pues yo siento que ya me siento preparado. Yo Fui a pelear a Argentina de eliminatoria, desgraciadamente, supuestamente perdí en la báscula, pero demostré arriba del ring porque soy número 1 del mundo y me siento más que listo para una pelea de ese tipo y qué mejor que sea aquí en el Forum de Inglewood.
He said he's ready, but the only thing is that when he fought in Argentina, he lost in the scale, but he proved himself that he was capable of, he's ready for a title shot.
Okay, thank you very much, Marco. Congratulations on your victory here tonight. 31-0, a great one-punch knockout by Marco Antonio Barrera here. Let's go back.